Hello, in this video we are going to go ahead and talk about the explicit process for arithmetic sequence, and our objective is students will be able to identify the nth term of an arithmetic sequence using an explicit process. Please remember to go ahead and write down this objective in your notes. Yesterday, or today in class, we talked about an arithmetic sequence being a sequence of numbers where there's a common difference between each pair of consecutive numbers. So an example of this would be here, 20, 23, 26, 29. Every single consecutive term has a common difference of 3, and here we're adding 3. Remember that we can go ahead and define an arithmetic sequence by using an explicit process which defines the nth term. Now, how we're going to create a function from an arithmetic sequence is we are going to go ahead and determine if the sequence is arithmetic. We will see, okay, is there a common difference between each terms? Is there a common difference? The second step, if there is a common difference, we identify it, and then we identify the initial value, the 0th term. Step 3 is to create our function, which is f of n equals the common difference multiplied by n, and we add the initial value. Here's an example. In this problem, I need to find the common difference. So I look at my f of x values, and the difference here is minus 3. Each term I am subtracting 3. So my common difference is negative 3. Since there is a common difference, this is arithmetic, and I can create my explicit process. The initial value is the value you start with. And in today's lesson, we talked about in the beginning there was 1 dot. So that was our initial value. It's always the 0th term. And notice here it's missing. Now how can I find the number for the 0th term? Well, if I'm subtracting 3 each time, here I can go the other direction and I can add 3. So this becomes 24. Therefore, my initial value is 24. So I now need to write my explicit process. F of n equals, well, it's the common difference, which here is negative 3, multiplied times n, and we add our initial value. And I'm going to put this in green. We add our initial value. And my initial value here is 24, so plus 24. Therefore, this is my explicit process for this pattern. Example 2, we again want to do the same thing. I need to identify the common difference. And looking at these patterns, I can tell that this sequence of numbers is just adding 5 every single time. So my common difference is 5. My initial value, that is the 0th term. That is f of 0. Well, notice I don't have 0 here, but it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 0th term would be essentially up here. And again, I can go the other direction. So that would be 10. My initial value is 10. And now I want to create my function. And my function is the common difference times n. So 5 times n plus my initial value, plus how much I start with. So my function is f of n equals 5n plus 10. I would like you to go ahead and do this example on your own. I'll post the answers here in a second, but go ahead and pause the video now and try this one on your own. Okay. So hopefully you tried this one. The common difference here is negative 4. These values are decreasing by negative 4. If you find the 0th term by going backwards, you add 4 and that gives you 25. So initial value is 25. And the explicit process would be negative 4 times n plus 25. Is this what you got? Good. Example 4. On these problems, notice it's given in a list. And the important thing to know about when you're given a list of numbers is that the first term given here is always f of 1. This is f of 2. This is f of 3. So really you start with the first term. And they want us to create a function using the explicit process from the given pattern. Well, looking at this, is this an explicit process? I need to identify the common difference, and here we are adding 3. Every single time we add 3. So therefore my common difference is 3. And I need my initial value, which is f of 0. Now f of 0 is not given, it's this term right here. But again, going backwards, since we're adding 3 here, if I subtract 3, I will get 2. So my initial value is 2. Therefore, my function would be 3n. I add 3 every new term, and we started off with 2. So that's my function. Example 5. Here, again, this is f of 1. This is f of 2. So I need to identify the common difference. What's going on here in this pattern? And that common difference is negative 40. We're subtracting 40 every single time. The initial value, that is f of 0. That's the value you start with. Here it's not listed, but going backwards, instead of subtracting 40, now I'm going to add 40 to 160, and that would be 200. So my initial value would be 200. Therefore, my explicit process to find any term n would be negative 40 times n, and I add the 200, my initial value. I would like you guys to go ahead and pause the video. I want you to try this example on your own, and when you're done, go ahead, resume the video, and check your work against mine. Okay, so the common difference here, we are adding 8 every single time. We add 8. This is my f of 1, so to find f of 0, I need to go backwards. I'm going to subtract 8, so that would be 92. And that's my initial value, f of 0. And my f of n would be f of n equals 8n, my common difference, times n, plus my initial value, which is 92. Did you get this? Good. Now, what we're going to do, and this is part of our objective, was being able to identify an nth term here of an arithmetic sequence using the explicit process. They want us to find the 70th term. Now, how we do that is we have to first go ahead and identify our explicit process. So I need my common difference, and my common difference here is negative 6. I'm subtracting 6. Sorry, I'm subtracting 6 every single time. So I have negative 6n, f of n equals negative 6n, and I need to add my initial value. So if this is f of 1 here, going backwards, and this time adding 6, I would get 35. So f of n equals negative 6n plus 35. Now, if I want to find the 70th term, all I do is I evaluate the function at 70. So I have negative 6 times 70 plus 35. Negative 6 times 70 is negative 420 plus 35. And this is equal to negative 385. So therefore, our 70th term, f of 70, is negative 345. That means if this list went out for 70 terms, this would be the 70th term. Example 8, again, the same idea. We need to first write our explicit process. I need to find my common difference. My common difference is negative 13. I'm subtracting 13 every single term. And I need my initial value. So I need f of 0, which is back here because I am in a list. So I'm going to add 13 going this way, which gives me 86. So I add 86. Now, they want us to find the 100th term here. So I'm going to plug in 100 into my function. So negative 13 times 100 plus 86. This gives me negative 1300 plus 86. and this is equal to negative 1214. Okay, and that is f of 100. Lastly, we can go ahead and we can do this with blocks here in this pattern as well. We'll see other visual examples. But at day 1, we're given 2 blocks. Day 2, there is 4 blocks. And at day 3, we have 6 blocks. So if you can tell, we're adding 2 blocks every single day. So 2 is my common difference. And notice this is day 1, so I need day 0. Well, if I'm adding 2 blocks every day, notice in day 0, we had no blocks. That's a bummer. So your initial value is 0. So I'm going to go ahead. They want to know how many blocks do we have in the 27th day. So I'm going to plug in 27 into my function. So 2 times 27 plus 0. 2 times 27 is 54. So this gives me 54. F of 27 is 54. With context problems, they generally want you to answer in a sentence too. So we're going to answer in a sentence. On the 27th day, there will be 54 blocks. Okay? Your closure question is explain how the function f of t equals 4t plus 1 represents the growing dots pattern. And remember, this represents the growing dots pattern because every minute that we had, we added 4 dots, and we started off with 1 dot. Okay. Remember, did we accomplish our objective? Identify the nth term of an arithmetic sequence using the explicit process. Well, we did do that. Don't forget to go ahead and like my video, like it, thumbs up, subscribe to this if you want, and also don't forget to complete the Google form, checking to see that you completed this. All right, peace out, have a good one.